And welcome everyone to the very first week of TPL Division 7 action here, featuring the Royal Dragoon Guards and the Dutch Lions Brigade. We're going to be fighting today on the map Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, a very well known and popular map here on the Hell Let Loose franchise, and over a midpoint of AA network, which just is so much, it just holds so much promise for an excellent match between these two. And since we are with these two teams here on the European side, let's go ahead and we're going to wish everybody a good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. Goeie avond for my Dutch friends there in the Netherlands. Very excited you guys can join us today. I am going to be your caster today, Mr. Night Falcon, as we look to try to show you all the fun, wonderful features of this Hell Let Loose community. So a few game rules that we want to go over real fast are a little bit different than what you might expect in your normal Hell Let Loose match. There's going to be these three main rules. Very first one is going to be one-man arty. This means that both teams have one player assigned to man that big boomstick, and that is the only player that can do it. They cannot have anybody load. They cannot get off and change to a different gun. If they do so, a little exciting code is written into the game where it's automatically going to punish 10 members of their friendly team. So that arty man is going to be the person with the highest kill-death ratio in our match today, because ultimately they're going to have a lot of kills and no deaths. So it's going to be exciting how both teams use their arty men to just wreak havoc on the other side. Second rule that we're going to focus on today is indestructible nodes. Each team has the ability to build up to 3 sets of nodes to help in resource generation for the commander abilities. And we want to try to keep things as fun and fair as possible. And so we want both teams to be able to build up those supplies as quickly as they can and as fairly as they can. And so once they've gone up, it's up to the other teams to not to take those out. If they do end up getting taken out, it could end up in a match disqualification for the other team. So if you see the nodes, turn the other way. And the final one is going to be the Panther ban. The Panther is known to have a few extra additional advantages. And so to level the playing field with the armor sides, we have added the Panther ban to prevent the Axis tanks, Axis squad from rolling out any Panthers and playing with them. So you are going to be seeing Tiger tanks only from their side, Tiger tanks and down. And then on the American side, it's going to be 76 and down. So that's it for the rules, though, that we're going to go over. Let's go ahead and pop over into the Division 7 league standings. With this being the very first week, congratulations. All teams are tied for first place. What an exciting place to be at this time. But we see both these guys, both these teams facing off with some tough competition with RMC, Death Before Dishonor, the 79th Infantry Division, and 626 Gaming. So a lot of fun teams out here just trying to have fun in the competitive sphere with this Hell Let Loose game that we all love. All right. So let's take a look here and see what we're working with here. All right, so as we're waiting for both teams to go ahead and load in here, and we're waiting for the burn, let's go ahead and get everything started up here appropriately. It appears my stream is frozen on this wonderful picture of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. So let's go ahead. We're going to see what we can figure out here real fast. All right. Let's technical difficulties here at the moment. Just a moment. And there we go. Okay. All right, going back into here. Okay, everything appears to be working out all right now. Let's get our interface put back up into here, because the stream coordinators at the Premier League have put a lot of effort and a lot of time into these overlays, and they're actually really fun to be able to play with. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep them showing here for you guys. All right. But we want to make that be the right size. So give me just a few seconds to get this in order. Don't you love it when you have everything set up beforehand and then it just decides to go, nope, we're going to go ahead and throw all the curveballs at you. All right, there we go. I think we are good to go now. Yes, look at this. All right, we are in business today. Okay, so let's go chat a little bit here while we're waiting for the teams to still load in. It looks like we're still waiting to get some people in. So for those of you who are not familiar with Hell Let Loose, I'm going to give you a quick brief rundown of what you can look to expect throughout the course of today's match. So Hell Let Loose is divided into 5 main capture points in a mode called Warfare. So both teams start out controlling 2 of these main sectors, and you can see each of these 2 sectors. Each sector holds up to 2 rows, and then once that row is taken, you can see it flip to the color of the corresponding team that controls it. At the start of the match, each team owns 2 of these controls, these points, with the third one being uncontrolled at the moment. So what we're going to see right off the rip are both teams are going to be forced to push right into AA network and work to capture that point. Once we see that, we'll see it either go red if it ends up being the Axis forces that end up winning that cap, or it will end up being blue if the Allied forces end up being that. So let's zoom on over to AA network, and we're going to talk a little bit about this point here. So there's a couple key things for you guys to know, and a couple locations that I will use throughout the course of this match, just for verbiage. So this is going to be kind of the main area of it, with this broken house right in the middle and trenches going all the way around. We call this area the hard cap. Basically, it means that the more people you have in there, the more cap pressure that you're going to have. Now, anybody inside of the 4 grid squares right here on AA network, we call that the soft cap. If they're outside of that big black circle right there, they are going to contribute cap pressure. But if people come into this black circle of the hard cap, that capture ends up going higher, that capture weight. And so you ultimately want to be able to try to get as many people into that hard cap sector as possible to be able to keep your team with some additional pressure and cap weight on that point. Now, another point that I would be calling out is going to be right over here. And let's zoom right on up. For those of you that aren't familiar with callouts in this game, we like to call this one 5 points. And this very much looks like a star with 5 arms to it. And so throughout the course of the match, I could be calling out 5 points. I could be calling out hard cap for this one. Another area right here is going to be hockey stick. Now, looking at it right here, it's not going to look like a hockey stick. But if you come up here, the trench on the map makes it look like hockey sticks. So that's why we've gone ahead and called it that way. Gardens is another key little location that we're going to be using. Coming over here to Carrot Farm, it's going to be this location. It's located just north of AA network. And these wheat fields. All right, looks like we're going to be flipping here in just a minute. So we're going to get started here, but let's run through a little bit more. This final point that I'll call out is called Warner Bros, because this looks like that iconic water tower from Warner Brothers. Just funny how some of these things get named. But that's going to be the main area of AA network that we're going to be fighting. Now, these other 2 points above and below of AA network could be randomized. So in this example, they're all set on the right side. When we flip to the next map, those could be randomized. They're still going to touch and be adjacent, but we could end up having any of these 3 sectors include that area. So with that, that is our flip, and we are going to go ahead and get on our way when it comes to the match. All right. And I have been, oh, it looks like we might have to flip again here real fast because it looks like we are on the wrong middle point here. So let's take a look and see what that is working with here. Both teams are furiously typing in the chat. Try to let Bearju know that it's the wrong objective and then we need to get it flipped over. So here momentarily, we're actually going to experience another double flip, which gives us a little bit more time to go ahead and chat. So AA network, as you can see, is going to be this main little section right here. But Pierre's farm and dugout right over here, those are 2 other locations that it could possibly be. But for the sake of our tournament today, teams are given midpoints, and when they're in the map ban phase and trying to choose what map that we're going to play, the TPL officials have set it up so that they automatically know what midpoint they're going to be capping, which helps a lot in the preparation phase of things. But in the same time, it can end up actually causing a little bit more pressure for teams as they look to try to have to then go to fourth and second to third capture points, third to fourth capture points. So all in all, for those match planners, it seems like it's just what animal or what monster are we going to be tackling that this week. Myself, I play for the 22nd, which is an American team over here. We're actually playing in Division 2. And unlike this league, which is a 35 versus 35, we play 49 versus 49. And so just a few more people on the battlefield. But still, regardless of the division, there's plenty of action to be had either way that you end up looking at it. So we are waiting for a double flip here as we work to get these up here real fast. So it was a lot of fun just to kind of hurry, think we're getting excited, and then boom, gotta wait. So double flip here in a moment. So we're going to have a little bit of a warm-up go here. But as we go through the course of the match, here on the overhead God camera, we'll be able to see the various teams as they come in and fight. And so for here, individual people will be marked just like Colonel Clink right here. Once the other friendly people pop out of the trucks, we will be working with, we'll be able to see where they are. All right, we are going to cast this as if we're going to keep playing here. So we did see some rocket snipes come in from... all right. So it looks like we're actually going to be fighting over Pierre's farm. So I was misinformed, and to that I am sorry. But here, from Lions. We saw some rocket snipes come on in, but did not hit anybody at that time. For Royal here, RDG. So RDG here, looking to focus a lot of people down here in the center of Pierre's farm. But RDG having full control over this area here on the eastern side that we like to call Pizza Slice. This is going to be a very pivotal area as it controls the map edge. But the Lux appears to have been able to take out that transport truck. Steve, 1993 coming up, looking to try to get an angle on that. Most likely has bazooka rounds. He's going to have to hit that Lux from the side, though, in order to get it. We do have one rocket coming in from Lucky Luciano that hit the front of it, but unfortunately that's not going to damage that tank as we see cap pressure starting to come back in favor of RDG. Steve getting a pen on the Lux. It's a good shot and getting away here, so we are going to go ahead and dip back here as we look to get it up. Lucky Luciano, though, getting plenty of good rockets in the direction of the Lux, but unfortunately, again, he is forced to be on the front of that. All right, and we see the DLB team over here slowly starting to make some progress here in the center cap. Hard cap, though, as I was mentioning before over on AA Network, is Pierre's farm right here. We have that big blocked out circle. That's going to be the hard cap, and at this time right now, it is controlled completely by RDG. The Lux is still hammering on away on map edge as Steve continues to try to push it. But the Lux is able to finally eliminate Steve there, clearing up the way for him to be able to have a little bit of leeway here and breathing room as he tries to move and gain ground here off of that garrison that's been spawned in that back right side. Okay, so scrolling on over here, we see the cap pressure coming back in for RDG and continuing forward as they continue to push DLB out of this area. Now here in the 35 vs 35, we got plenty of action that happens here, but it keeps a lot of things nice and fun and exciting because while people might not be spread out as much, they're going to be concentrated a little bit more in the soft cap sector. We do see plenty of action as those arty shells come in. So Apache Garrison holding in the area around that AA network where we thought the point was going to be, and working off it as we have Commander Ghost most likely down here driving around in his truck. I don't know, we've got Ace Mav. So this cap battle here for Midcap is still going on. So far we are in for a very good battle here as the DLB was able to get some cap pressure on there from RDG, but after a few seconds, looked like it was going back in the favor of RDG, but now it is going back in the favor of DLB. So back and forth, this seesaw keeps on churning. So we've got DLB starting to gain pressure over here on this eastern side. The Lux appears to now be fully developed, fully repaired here, and is able to start pushing back up to try to give some additional support to their players. So let's go ahead. We're going to scroll in and get a little bit more of a first-person perspective here to kind of see what these guys are working with. Captain moving on over here with a supply box, trying to get additional room. So we got Captain McDoss and Captain Monkey all back here trying to hold additional ground. We've got Cooper over here. Let's get a look and see what Cooper's looking at in his viewpoint. Unfortunately, our gun has glitched out. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop back into the third-person perspective with our handy-dandy laser pointer to see exactly kind of where Cooper's looking at. Now, if we take away the caster overpowered ability of seeing exactly where everybody is, we can kind of see what we're working with here. And for him, it's pretty bare bones. Here on the side of the casters, we get that added benefit of seeing where everybody is. And so let's go ahead and add the caster's advantage so we can see that Wombat and Lucky Luciano are close over there by the other friendlies here. But we know they're all there. But like I was saying a minute ago, they do not have that same advantage. Mr. Cooper does not have that same advantage. So Captain McDoose taken out, though, as the Lux has pushed back in here, commanded by King Tiger. Captain Monkey trying to figure out if there is anybody behind it, but he is taken out by Wombat, leaving our Lux over here by King Tiger all by himself as he takes out Wombat and Lucky Luciano. Now, the Dutch Lions Brigade have gotten a very strong push here into the point, and we are starting to see that they are 3/4 of the way capped onto this middle cap. And with that, we are back moving in progress for RDG. So this is still a battle over the mid fight here. As both these teams are battling it out tooth and nail to try to gain capture point over Pierre's farm here. Plenty of rockets coming in for the RGB side, sorry. RDG, man, I'm having a hard time. RDG, the RDG side. But the Dutch Lion Brigade appeared to be hitting the very final cap moments of this point, and so that initial cap does end up going to the Dutch Lions Brigade. And so gefeliciteerd there as we work to get that scoreboard updated here for you. So that leads us to DLB with a 2-3 lead over RDG. All right. So after the initial cap, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we're looking at here when it comes to the RDG side. So when it comes to garrisons, we're starting to see a good garrison network built up. These garrisons are pivotal in helping the RDG control the main points of the battle, coming from this area down into the pizza slice area where we can see that their medium tank is currently seated, trying to push down and anchor against that Lux that's going to be a little bit more down here in the area. Now, we also have some other people pushing out of this wheat field down on this left-hand side with a third garrison being put up in the back. So overall, a strong garrison network coming up from RDG. Let's take a quick look and see what we can look at what the back lines look like for the Dutch Lions Brigade here. So earlier we were seeing some spawns coming off down in this southern side. So most likely at that time they did have some sort of garrison. Unfortunately, at this point, it does not appear that they have one down in that area. But overall, we can see some good cap pressure. So zooming out to kind of the macro view here, we can see that the Dutch Lions Brigade has a good heavy presence on the middle cap area. And they're starting to push up on this right side over on Pizza Slice here. Now, they are also controlling these wheat fields that deceptively make you think that you're going to be a little safe. But if you're able to get angle, much like Karim here, be a little bit higher over the elevation, you can actually get down and see through the tops. And so like J-Moon over here, we've got over on the left side of what we're looking at here. I wonder if he'll be able to find that garrison that RDG has up in there. But right now we have a friendly bombing run coming from RDG. Let's take a quick look and see if it's been able to get anything on that back side as it takes out a number of RDG player or of Dutch Lion Brigade players, or DLB. And with that, RDG pushes plenty of bodies here into the hard cap area. So if they keep this pressure up, they should start seeing some amount of cap pressure and cap weight coming in their way. I want Baba battling it out against Frost, but missing the shots. Finally, Frost is taken down by I Want, but immediately taken out by Fodder, who fires a rocket into there and makes him a little bit of his own cannon fodder here. Major gang patch over here, Patchy, trying to hold an angle here as Shock Trooper moves in for additional support. Fodder again firing another rocket. As we see cap pressure start to come in here for RDG. Now, as a matter of note, I'm going to give it my best go to try to get everybody's names right. However, in video games, we all have wonderful names, and sometimes my brain is not going to process as I'm trying to talk through things appropriately, as you can already tell with the ways that I've kind of had a hard time giving out the names of the teams. I just keep getting all these acronyms mixed up. So with that, I apologize if I mispronounce or accidentally say something wrong about if I call your team by the wrong name, or I call your name incorrectly. It is nothing personal. It's just a ADHD boy over here in the Western United States that tries to follow all the action as best as he can. But ultimately, trying to show as many people as I can, because at the end of the day, that's where the fun is. So DLB was starting to get some progress here at Pizza Slice, but unfortunately it appears that that has been wiped out with Darth Invader 23 taking out Brahma Bull, and in turn being taken out by Capped Bag. As we see a DLB bombing run go through that back line there. Looks like it missed garrisons, and so everything is still up for RDG, leaving them with all of their bodies that they need to continue to spawn. Quinn Cooper taken out, though, here on the back side, as this now opens up the gate here for the RGB players to hop on in and try to gain additional advantages and ground there. Ice Temple Monkey, kudos, that's a pretty fun name, along with Captain MacDuz and Ranchi over here, just trying to stem the tide of RGB guys that are trying to push in down this Pizza Slice area. Let's go ahead and fly on over here to the hard cap sector, as RDG appears to continue to put bodies down into the hard cap and is contesting the point at the current time, as we see cap pressure slowly start to tick in for them. It does not appear that we have a DLB garrison up here yet. And many of their guys are having to come in off backside garrisons. So that could end up being a very pivotal turning point here, as RDG attempts to get this point capture to move back into their possession. So just like that initial cap, we see this cap and rebattle over Pierre's farm proving to be a good back and forth battle, as both teams continue to flood people into that point. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we're looking at in the armor side here for the Allies, as we see the first 76 moving up towards the area of Pizza Slice. All right, and with that, it appears that we now have all of our friendlies joining us in on the broadcast. So our 30-minute delay is over up to this point. So very well done. It looks like the stream is running all right. Feel free to leave what information you can in the comments. If for some reason it's a little loud or something on your backside, please feel free to let me know. And even though it'll be a half-hour delayed in getting it back and changed for you, let me know. I could try to make the changes I need to in order to make this as good of a stream as possible, because ultimately I'm here to try to support you guys. Now RGB looks like that cap pressure is continuing to move into their area. All right, and with that, we are live. Awesome. Okay. Now RDG, now 3/4 of the way capped onto this point, with the Dutch Lions Brigade just trying to claw tooth and nail back into this here. But RDG does appear to have a very strong presence over that hard cap weight, as we see a Stuart tank here just manning right down the middle of that road. So here we're kind of get a look at what he's looking at as we get this cap progress moved back in the favor of RGB. And with that, they have claimed the mid-cap. So another good cap. Look at this. We are only about 25 minutes into the action here, ladies and gentlemen, but we have now had 2 midpoint caps in this matchup. And so we are already off to a great start as I look to get this scoreboard updated for us. And with that, we are now up 3-2 for RGB. Now, it appears that, again, we are flipping very quickly with DLB able to get some cap progress here. Looking at the garrison spawns, it looks like we had supplies dropped, but this means that G Squad is going to need to get this garrison up. We're looking at Sienna here to get that garrison up, which they have now done. So with this, they will be able to flood bodies back into the point to continue their cap progress and pressure here. So that is good awareness. That's the word I'm looking for. From RGB to get everybody RDG. Whew. All right, man. Gonna have to like go for a cleanse or something after this to get all these acronyms out. So how about this? To keep things as simple and easy as possible for everyone and to make sure I don't keep messing up names, we're gonna deal with Royal being the blue team and Dutch being the red team. So Royal, make it a little easier for everybody, coming on into the hard cap here, able to keep that pressure here as that garrison no longer shows an orange tint, meaning that enemies are within the area. Now the Dutch Lion Brigade, nah, I like the Lions. We're going to call them the Lions. How about that? So the Lions here on the southern side appear to be moving out, being eliminated slowly as Dally here on his own little island. Let's take a look and see if he is able to hold off as Billy moves forward here. Billy, no doubt, taking his time, trying to hold angles as we flip around to kind of get an idea of what they are looking at on this side. Now, Royal appears to have taken over all of the eastern wheat field as Dally is able to take care of Bully, but Captain Teabag here, no doubt hearing that as well, as Dally continues to try to stay alive, trying to fight against Captain Walters here. As Captain Walters dives, dodges all of the bullets that Dally is going to be sending his way. Dally making the smart decision to back out of here, away from where Captain Walters thinks that he was, but Captain Walters able to pin him down and remove him from that situation. And so with that, now we can kind of see how the Royal Dragoon Guard is moving along this side here. So we were able to establish another garrison here in this western this western wheat field, held very securely right now by Royal. And Pierre's farm still having that garrison up. So we are going to be looking. They'll want to try to get a garrison up here over on the eastern side of the map. As a precision strike did come in. Let's take a look and see if that did eliminate said tank that they were trying to target. It looks like at this time no tank was eliminated. So that Lux has moved up to try to support his friends here on the Lions side. Now Skiller, 6 Killer here actually, is going to have a really good vantage point over this area. Now it looks like we are a little bit, so sometimes this video ends up clipping a little bit lower than what we're looking at, but as you can see, 6 Killer does really have a good angle as he is taken out by the caster's curse, unfortunately. So that is my apologies there, 6 Killer, for revealing your position in the universe and having the Royal team take you out with Wombat and Frankie being there. No doubt likely one of them being the instigator of that conflict. So Captain Monkey, Raunchy, 6 Killer, Darth Invader, and Major Gang Patch. Ice Temple Monkey following up the rear, trying to hold on to that eastern flank. Now, if they are able to hold on to this road, that's going to be very beneficial for them because once they get pushed back, if Royal is able to push down this road any further, they're going to be very much exposed to some giant open fields here on the backside, which could make it very difficult for them to get back into fighting positions. So if we're wanting to try to gain and keep people over here on this side of Pierre's farm, we're going to want to have these guys hold their lines so that they make sure that they are able to secure that flank here and allow for more allied resources to be brought over this way. All right, and it appears that all of our stuff is still looking good, in excellent condition. So we are good to go on that side. Whippy, Ohio with the first comment. Much appreciated, brother. He is a fellow teammate on the 22nd. Our match is going to be next week, and we will be facing HLLE over on Carentan. So we're looking forward over to that match, as again, it's just going to be another week full of fun action here in the TPL world. And with that, the Allies have continued to be able to move their bodies forward, and here on the western side of the map are starting to move across the area towards Warner Brothers as Maximus enters the trenches there. Major Howard and the Stuart tank holding down the flank just south of Warner Brothers, mowing down Captain Spears and other Dutch Lions as they move up trying to get to this point. But it looks like we've got some action going on here in the backside as cap progress looks like it might start ticking in, as RDG has started to get some pressure on in this backside with an airhead that has come down and spawns off of a garrison back down in here, Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. Now, looks like they might be in a position where they're starting to get cap pressure and just cause a lot of havoc here for the Dutch Lions here. A squad with an OP here on this eastern side as Captain Monkey tries to search around and figure out where in the world this action is coming from. Nowhere is safe right now as he continues to try to hold it, as Steve runs around trying to find out why in the world his OP right here is glowing red. And with that, we see that the light tank, that Stuart tank that we were following a moment ago, is now eliminated. So that leaves now the 76 up here on the backside, captained by Jibble, being the only allied tank, as Captain Monkey now has gotten some additional support here from Captain McDoos. But the point already being captured, with a bombing run coming in and clearing out that area east of the point on Pierre's farm. So just as we were saying, they are completely wiped off this eastern flank. And it's going to leave a lot of room here for Royal to pop on down here and gain additional ground. Now, cap progress is starting to come in for Royal as they are pushing bodies into the middle of Church. On this point right here, Church is right smack dab in the middle of hard cap. So the only people here for the Dutch Lions is going to be Malarkey, who's anywhere close to being in the hard cap. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see exactly what he's looking out, as fortunately Frost takes him out. Good shooting by Frost. Let's try to get in here and get on the action with somebody that's coming up here. We got Ice Temple Monkey doing some aerobics, it looks like, trying to find an area to get an angle down here as Royal continues to gain additional cap progress and towards that third point. Ice Temple Monkey unfortunately eliminated as Captain Monkey is moving on in this side. So let's go ahead and take a look at Captain Monkey, see how he looks at moving around in this position. Looks like unfortunately his gun has not also rendered in, as he is stepping away from the battle. So we will step away from him for the moment and just see what we are looking at as this battle continues to rage over Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. The Dutch Lions now finally able to stop cap progress, moving in here as Darth and Vader battle off against Frost, who gets 2 rockets and most likely stole that kill. But we have a garrison spawn back here for the Dutch Lions as they get massive bodies back. No doubt leaving flanks open, but saving cap pressure. Let's go ahead and take in the raw, unfiltered look here of the beauty of this game and the cinematic action that it features as players just move up into this map, trying to secure this area for them. So Captain McDoos just trying to balance out wherever he can as an enemy Axis flare goes up over the point to try to illuminate where those allies are, to try to weed them out of the point. Now, it looks like where that might have landed, there are not too many people there at the moment. So, unfortunately, probably not going to get a lot of good intel as the squad here from G Squad is starting to push in the front. Major Gangpatchy taking out Sergeant Bob from that window. And now it appears that Brahma Bull is the only man still up in the tower here, as the Dutch Lions have been able to clear all this out. Now, Sergeant Bronze, I'm going to give him a good call out here. The Allied Bazooka is unable to do anything to the front or side of his tank. And so with him backing up into the corner like he has, the Allies unfortunately are not able to get any rockets on him. And because of that, that's going to be able to keep him safe. So ultimately, he is going to be left only susceptible to satchels and other things. So that is a big IQ play on his part to back that tank on up into that point to prevent him from being able to get taken out by Allied AT. Now, the Dutch Lions appear to have been able to gain control over that middle point again. Still have not been able to hit this garrison that's in the back line here. But Royal is starting to really suffer when it comes to the area of garrisons. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek back here and see what we are working with, as it appears that the Royal Lions, or the Dutch Lions, have been able to get bodies up forward and eliminated that garrison that was up on Pierre's farm earlier. War Daddy NL taken out by Commander Ghost. Commander Ghost just trying to come in and provide additional support to his infantrymen as they continue their push onto SMDM into the church area. Ghost coming around, seeing Shine, takes out I Am Noonie and Shine, so that is a good double kill for Ghost. But unfortunately, that reign of terror is ended by PLC, who comes up from the backside with his MP40, saying, "None of that, Mr. Ghost. You have taken out enough of my friends." But PLC now is all by his lonesome as Schwinn, I Am Noon, and War Daddy NL come off of the OP that they have been able to create in this broken building. So that is a very good strong point for them to be able to, or a very good spawn point for them to keep pushing down into the point. All right. So with this, we can see that the Dutch Lions Brigade appear to be making a push down through the Warner Brothers section across this field into the wheat fields, as the other members of their team are trying to get additional progress here over the eastern side. It's just south of Pierre's farm. So let's continue to monitor that situation as Ice Temple Monkey is trying to hold up this garrison that he has back here, but is just surrounded by little blueberries that are 100% just on the battle of trying to get it taken out, as Captain Bag with that excellent rocket takes out the garrison and takes out Ice Temple Monkey. Ice Temple Monkey no doubt had a little bit of a panic attack as he heard that rocket come in over his right shoulder. I know in all sense of the word, I would have done the exact same thing. With our friends over here at the Dutch Lion Brigade starting to get progress here into the middle cap sector, going away, but this means that cap pressure is starting to be able to form here for the Dutch Lions Brigade here. And again, for all my Dutch friends, I know you're going to notice that I keep just messing up your name. And so I do apologize. Ik wens dat het beter kon doen, maar ik moet zeggen dat het moeilijk is als je moet heel snel praten. Maar ik denk het ook. Hopelijk zal ik het juist voor de match nog... hopelijk het zal nog... Ik zal het nooit meer doen, maar ik zou zeggen dat er een goede kans is dat ik zal het verder doen. But here we see that the Allies have been able to push 276 tanks to guard this backside flank. And they are able to get their turrets just above here. So for the drivers, this is a very, very, very relatively boring view. But for the gunners, as you can see, they're able to see right over the top of that hedge. Let's get an idea of what they're looking at. So we have, again, that caster's advantage that helps us know kind of where everybody is. But with that, these guys don't have that same advantage. So for them, there's not a lot of activity or movement coming through on the front side there, as Fodder is the only person that we could probably see in that front side. So let's go ahead. We're going to zoom back out here and get an overall look at what we're dealing with the macro scale things here. So let's see if we can get both points kind of in our camera view here. So right now, we still have our good garrison network up here, back here for Royal, with the garrison being put down here right in the middle of Pierre's farm. Additional supplies are being dropped by Commander Ghost as they try to get another garrison up here on the eastern side over by Pizza Slice. Now, for Royal down here, we do see that on the southern side, their spawns have appeared to be all taken out. with the exception of this garrison that is locked out. So in the red zone, garrisons will be locked out if anybody is within 100 meters of said garrison. And so if we pop on down here, we can see that the Dutch Lion that was just removed must have just been the only person inside that 100-meter radius, as this garrison has now opened up and is available for spawns as Frost moves up and takes out Tim OPT. Now, the Allies do have another airhead coming in on the backside here, so we're going to sit here and kind of watch and see what this does as they try to establish another attacking point here, as they've been able to respawn back very nicely and clear Pierre's farm from the few people that were able to get into the hard-capped sector. Headless Quill now has the biggest job in the game of trying to prevent this airhead from being locked out, as Reacher spawns in on the garrison and he is taken out by Headless Quill. Levinus, knowing that the garrison is in trouble, but unfortunately unable to get through the locked gate door of the garden, tries to fire what he can down here on Headless Squall. And with that, a very well-placed grenade, that airhead spawn has now been eliminated. So very well done by our Dutch Lions to get in there, get some grenades and stuff onto that and eliminate that spawn, as Headless takes out Danger Rush, takes out Levinus, and 6 Killer also taken out. So triple kill by Headless Squill. So while he was unable to hold up the airhead, he was able to go ahead and take out Tim. So he is at least on a 4-kill streak, but Darth Invader able to eliminate him, ending his reign of terror here in the back lines for Royal. All right. And the Allies are sending in a bombing run here right over the top of point, trying to clear it out as their team waits. Let's go ahead and see, as good old Smithers says, the average competitive kill volume for a bombing run is going to be about 3. As of right now with that, fortunately, it doesn't look like there are any Dutch Lions in the path of that bombing run, with the exception of Malarkey, who was just taken out. Now, Malarkey here is slang for some type of colloquial language, but in order to keep this G-rated, we're going to go ahead and not say that. But shout out to my fellow lovers, band of brothers here, as we're starting to see cap progress come in here for Royal as they push bodies into the church. So while the bombing run didn't necessarily take out a lot of guys, it did make sure that the area was clear for them to push back up and into. So Marcel currently trying to clear out of the area, but does not appear that he knows that he is currently satcheled. So us on the Allied side, we are able to see that this satchel did get placed down on him, and he is going to go big boom here, as he is now exploded and joins the rest of his warrior brethren in Valhalla, or on the next spawn life. More likely that, as he's going to be spawning in here with his tank crew again, most likely. Cap progress is still continuing to come in for Royal, though, as we now hit the 52, almost about to hit the 52-minute mark. With that, the Dutch Lions, we know that their garrison was taken out here on the eastern side. Let's take a look over here in the cemetery area and see if they have been able to get another garrison back up, as we start to see Royal RDG players coming on in through that cemetery. Looks like Captain Monkey was able to get a garrison spawn up here in the north, but that forces the rest of his team to continue battling back down through the roads and the streets here, as cap progress begins to come in on the middle point. So as of right now, we have ourselves a little bit of a cap race that appears now has gone in favor of both defensive teams, as Royal begins to gain additional cap pressure back on Pierre's, and our Dutch Lions Brigade has come up and has been able to recap pressure over on Pierre's. All right. Sorry about that. I had a little visitor pop in real fast. Had to make sure they got shooed right back out. Loves to listen to things on his iPad and probably would get some type of copyright violation from Disney if they were to get word of it on the mic here. So I had to, give him the boot. But we love him nonetheless. Shout out to all my other parents out there in the Hell Let Loose universe. And if you're watching this, it'd be much appreciated if you're able to go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe. It's going to help out greatly because the way YouTube does things is they end up locking some of these features behind the number of likes and subscriptions that you have to your channel. So King Tiger able to get his guys out of harm's way, eliminating the threat as King Tiger moves on up here and needs to badly get reps as he is most likely engined at this time. So with that, he is sitting dead in the water with an open Royal garrison on this backside, so it is just a matter of time before somebody is able to get back up. Now, the hard thing about engine repairs is that you are going to have to repair the entire engine, and unlike the tracks, you can't just simply top it off and move forward. So Reacher kind of on a race against time here as he works to try to get this back as Colonel Clink coming back up the side. Now, this could prove to be a very interesting little interaction here as Colonel Clink appears to be beelining it. Cap progress is coming in for our Dutch Lions Brigade, though, on the back side. So we are going to zoom over there here in a moment, but we want to see just if Colonel Clink's able to get back here and get another rocket into this Panzer IV. All right, we are Colonel Clink appears to have gotten a little pushed out of the area. So we are going to come over and see what our Dutch Lions Brigade is currently doing as they now have a strong presence on the south side. Taking a look at the map, we do still have a garrison up here for Royal. And they are going to need to get some bodies off of that here shortly to try to keep this cap progress moving back in their favor here as it continues to defend back towards the right area. Mr. Rebel here on the wingtip over this well-controlled pizza slice eastern side of the map. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what Mr. Rebel is working through. Hopefully sending lots of good vibes and thoughts and prayers that the caster curse does not come and make him a victim either. But our guns are not wanting to load in for us. Little buggy here on the third-person perspective, or the first-person perspective, but still, nonetheless, we can kind of get an idea of what he's looking at. And there it is, the thing that is almost just as reliable as a good old Toyota car. Not sponsored, by the way. The Caster's Curse comes on in and takes him out. War Daddy NL taken out, though, by Bully, just being a bully on that backside. Slowly, RDG is getting bodies back into the point here. Apache Garrison looking for garrisons is frankly coming off of it. Apache, no doubt, finding that spawn was in the area, takes out an OP and is currently poised to take out that garrison. So this could be huge for our Dutch Lions Brigade members as they push up towards this point. Apache Garrison able to gain control over this northern side of the point as more supplies come in from Commander Ghost. Let's make sure our scoreboard is still looking what it's supposed to be, and it looks like it is. So in future iterations of the TPL cast here, we should have the ability to have it actually automatically change. So that will be very fun to have as we look to get to that point. But right now you got to deal with me and my trying to multitask and do a few different things at once. Just want to make sure that information is as good and up to date as it is possible for you guys. Dave Rave Cave taking out Brahma Bull, but not before Brahma Bull is able to eliminate Shock Trooper. Dave Rave Cave coming up this hedge, trying to find a way up into point here as he slowly moves on up. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what Dave Rave Cave is going to be finding as he pushes towards Mr. Wombat here. On a collision course directly for him as Senna runs across the field. There is a spawn far to the east over in that corner there where he might be able to see, but Dave's coming up, no doubt hearing Wombat here. Neither side wanting to make the first move here as Wombat goes prone, trying to be silent. Dave Rave Cave not knowing he is there, though, taking out Lucky Luciano, alerting Wombat to his position. Dave Rave going silent here. As he sees Wombat getting the shot in the angle as Dave's back was turned to him. So with that, Wombat going to be holding that hedge line for now. Very good work on his part. Let's go give some love to our friends over here on AA Network. Mr. Arthur Morgan recovering from his tuberculosis, able to live a little bit longer, fighting his war battles out here in World War II. Jamu also able to be here over on AA Network. As Gengar DLB starts coming in from that western side. Karim, the farthest western player that we know of it here at the moment, pushing up on Arthur Morgan and Jamu. As of right now, they are unaware of his presence as Arthur Morgan is able to put up a garrison. Karim with his STG getting some shots on Arthur Morgan, taking out Jamu, but Arthur Morgan able to use those, had to use some Deadeye ability there to take out Karim with his M1 Grand. So good work on his part to be able to hold up that point and that garrison that he was able to spawn at to keep Royal moving on in as his teammates continue to push down through this wheat field and gain an advantage back towards the Sainte-Marie-du-Mont that appears to still have some Royal players down on it, but at the moment currently is being left up, currently does not have much of an attack moving up on it. So we can see an allied airhead coming in just to provide additional support on this backside as the garrison is still up. But with that garrison, that airhead has been taken out. Now we see a Dutch bombing run coming in here. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on. Is it able to clear that garrison? Yes, it is. So garrison no longer up on Pierre's farm for Royal. As enemy Artie is starting to pound down into Pierre's farm, Bully pushing back on in. There are a few supplies here for Royal to be able to get another garrison up. If he's able to get up and get that sight line, let's take a look. With this being on his side, we'll be able to see where he'll be able to see those supplies. Quick look, he has to at least get to this position in order for those supplies to work. But unfortunately, he is taken out by enemy artillery that is just peppering this point. So it is now left up to Wombat, who's the next man up in this battle, to get that garrison back up here for Royal. As we see Dutch supplies falling in the back there. Let's see if Mr. Wombat's going to be able to get that garrison back up here on Pierre's farm. No doubt command chat going crazy right now as they work to try to get those garrisons put back up. Ace Mav hiding behind the corpse of an old Puma tank. As we continue to see Pine and his squad, Sergeant Bear and Sergeant Bud. Again with this backside, able to peek over this hedge to make sure that their team holds that advantage. Now Armor, one of those positions that holds a very valuable role for each team. But unlike public matches here in the competitive scene, often are forced to play a little bit slower as Captain Spears takes out Ace Mav, alerting the 76 crew of the bad guys in the area. Captain Spears trying to hide behind the hedge, but unfortunately, I do not believe that he is going to be able to stay safe from that. Who as the hedge takes the first shell from the 76. Mr. Gibbles over there trying to save his tank, repair it from the small amount of flames that are going up. Ace Mav has been able to respawn back in as WRTB Nays and Apache Garrison continue to fight in on these backlines here for the and he is taken out by the 76 with Ace Mav coming to finish up on Captain Spears. And with that, the majority of the bad guys here in the backside for the Dutch Lions Brigade have been taken out, with Crypto continuing to fight with gerbils to now repair the engine so they can get that fired right back on up. Apache Garrison looking for probably another garrison to add to his tally today. So as we are looking at a good solid front line here from our friends over at Royal, starting to push down in Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, appears to have been able to gain a cap pressure, and Apache Garrison is taking out another garrison, giving out a war cry, an Apache war cry as he searches around in the back line, taking these things out, adding another notch to his belt. No doubt, most likely going to be having some fun around the campfire tonight. It is a long burn, though, and as of right now, because it is a locked sector, it's going to take about a full 30 seconds for that garrison to be destroyed. Apache, though, he is very patient, able to take that garrison out, so very well done. DLB able to get some spawns here out of this wheat field, north side of point, able to move up as we see more allied supplies come in from Royal in this same little area here. So they're going to want to be getting another garrison up here as they try to keep people out of their back lines. But as of right now, they appear to be well entrenched here in the back lines with some spawns, with War Daddy NL coming off their garrison that is hidden down in here in the wheat field. Now, the Axis have a little bit more of an advantage because unlike the Allies with the telescope that sticks up just a little bit higher, they have these cans which can be easily spotted, but are a little bit easier to miss than you would expect the Axis side to have. And so here's another example of the Allied garrison option right there. Now it kind of does blend in, so it might just be a matter of perspective of which one you feel like is the easier one to see. But I guess in my mind, I am trained to watch out for those Axis supplies, the Axis garrison, the tin cans on top of there. And for me, it's easier to see. All right, so as we move towards the 38-minute mark, again, my name is Night Falcon. I am the host of today's match here. Given my good old first TPL scrim, first TPL match cast here, so I appreciate you guys all for joining us, as it looks like we're starting to see plenty of people inside here. I can already see the fun names being called out. I cannot tell you how many times I called out RGB through the course of trying to prep this match today. So for any of you guys out there looking to try to start up your own competitive team, RGB is available and would be a great team. And if I ever cast a match between RGB and RGBiv, man, I think my science side of my head will just explode. Austin Reed saying that he prefers RGB. So with that, we may be seeing a rebrand here for Royal as they potentially could be moving into RGB and having some fun with that. Definitely wouldn't have as cool of a logo, I'd imagine, as it would just be 3 different colors. But I appreciate the good humor on that side as I struggle and power through with getting these names up here. All right, so here we currently are seeing Royal RGB, as they're going to futurely be known, pushing up this middle ground, working towards this town mansion complex here. Let's take a look as Major Gang Pouchy getting some shots over on Senna, but unable to take him out at the time. Raunchy sending up a flare, though, to try to find out where they are as Dally comes up behind Cap Teabag. Senna being the only person there at the moment for Royal, as the Dutch Lions look like they're starting to get cap pressure here on that middle point, as it goes back actually in favor of Royal. But Royal starting to get cap progress here on Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. So again, we're at a point where both points kind of are on that tipping point. Let's see how this battle continues to move forward. Now, the majority of the push, it appears, for Royal is coming off this eastern side and down straight front door, as RBG RDG as RDG make their way up through front door and are able to take out that garrison back there, forcing the Dutch Lions back here to the strong capped area. Sergeant Malarkey and Badger on the backside causing a little bit of havoc, just trying to prevent any enemy armor from being able to move up. Now let's take a look and see if we can see where enemy armor might be here, as we see a Panzer IV starting to pull up in this backside. Nope, sorry, correction, Tiger tank. Oh, and just like we were kind of seeing, Badger back here getting some fire on it. Let's take a look. Is he able to get a second rocket? No. Dempsey able to come in and save his Tiger from taking another round of the backside, which would have surely caused that engine to explode and left him sitting dead in the water. Good on Sergeant Brones, Marcel, and Spike here as they push up towards point, with Frost getting on the backside here, getting another shot. Most likely engineing the Tiger because now he is silent, but he has another rocket in his back. Let's see if he is able to take out the Tiger with Leviticus NL, unaware of what's happening right behind him. But a big play from Frost as he pushes up into the point here and is able to take out that Tiger tank. Big play, sacrificing his life for his team there, as Darth Invader and Quinn Cooper are also eliminated. Most likely from Captain Walters out of the third story window. And here Royal continuing to push bodies down into the point. Now, if I was Royal, we'd want to really be trying to get some garrisons right up here on this front line as we start to see a couple different squad leaders come back. This garrison still will want to be put up in the blue zone, but the garrison on Pierre's farm is going to be a little bit too close to it. So most likely Captain Ghost Commander Ghost will need to get that garrison removed so they can get that garrison placed up on the blue line, as our Dutch Lions Brigade members here up on the northern side continue to battle over this key area of this mansion. Ice Temple Monkey able to take out Stylish, but Frost returning the favor to Ice Temple Monkey. Frost recently respawned from his adventures back there on the backside, as the Dutch Lions Brigade was able to get a garrison up. Dally able to see Frost, but Darth Invader able to get the kill as Dally able to suppress. Darth Invader showing that he does not appreciate Frost's presence back there in the back line. No doubt wanted to walk up and ask him where the plans are that he was sent. But unfortunately, when you eliminate him, you cannot interrogate them, Darth Invader. I'm sure he'll be out there looking for a few more allied scum to be able to interrogate as they try to win this war here in Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, this battle. So Royal still maintaining a presence here in the backside, as Levinas NL is holed up here in this backside, most likely trying to coordinate his squad as Captain Teabag moves on up. Cap pressure coming back in for Royal. Let's go ahead and take a look at Headless Quill here real fast. Look at his action as he and PLC eliminate each other. One of the most frustrating ways to die in this game. Been the victim of it many a time, where both players fire off a bullet at the exact same time pretty much and eliminate each other, as we see Six Killer taking out Badger in the back line there. Sergeant Bob appears to have taken out Levinus. Darth Invader again pushing up, trying to recover those stolen plans. moving towards Sergeant Bob as we see an allied airhead, a very bold allied airhead looking to come down here on the backside. So let's go ahead. We're going to zoom on up here and see exactly where we're going to find this land. So this little ghost outline right here is where we're going to see this airhead coming down. So it is in a nice little protected spot with Darth Invader, the only person in the area that can potentially know where that's going to land. We do have an allied bombing run with Commander Mentjocks in the backside, potentially being the only person that it may look to take out. But here we are looking to see if maybe a garrison spawn location might be taken out, but I do not believe anything is back up there for the Dutch Lions Brigade, as the supply truck is back here. Airhead is just about to land on the ground, and it does not look like there are any Dutch Lions in the area seeing that land. Darth Invader, though, may have found that coming off as a grenade goes out. Unable to take it out. Darth Invader able to take it out with the second grenade. So very good awareness by Darth Invader, being the only Dutch Lion back here, keeping an eye out for that airhead, able to eliminate it as soon as it pretty much hit the ground. So very good play by Darth Invader, again proving to us why he is the Dark Lord of Hell Let Loose. All right. Now, the Dutch Lions appear to have been able to regain composure and pull the bodies back to recover the point here. Still seeing Danger Dave Cave and Gengar back here on the back line. Matt Coral NL able to keep progress up, as it appears this backside garrison, let's see, they still have, yes, they still have this backside garrison. So the for Royal, they have not been able to take this out yet, but they do have a garrison of their own, all but 20, 25, 30 meters away from it. So hopefully one of the teams is going to find out that the garrison is there, but as of right now, that does not appear to be the case. So lots of fun, exciting things happening in the back line here. Gengar unaware that this garrison is up, but making it red here. So no doubt alerting some of the Royal players that this garrison is warm, as Gaz searches over the top of this wheat field. Let's take a look over at Gaz's side. Never mind, Gaz has now turned the other direction and is no longer looking towards their garrison as it stays up. No enemy supplies were dropped there. Don't know if he got hit or if he got simply redeployed. Might have come off the wrong spot, as we hear an Axis Stuka inbound. Let's take a look and see if it hits on something. Looks like we were able to get an impact on a transport trucks, or not a transport truck, a half track. So unfortunately unable to take out the allied half track here on the backside. Those precision strikes, I tell you, as a commander myself, it can be a pain in the butt sometimes to hit those things. And unfortunately, just being a little bit off, as we can see that most likely hit just west of that position, as Mount Coral and NL is able to now lock it out. Gaz trying to get an angle, but RTB Nays able to get a satchel down on that. So within just a moment, I am Noonie, noticing that satchel has been put down, saying I want no part of that. And this half track is going to go big boom on the backside here. Probably should come up with a better name, better thing to say. Up in smoke. There we go. How about that? And that half track's going to go up in smoke in just a few more seconds, as the Dutch Lions Brigade starting to continuing to have their presence here on the backside. Now, as we round this 26-minute mark, we are getting to the point where both commanders are going to have maybe 1-2 bombing runs available to them, depending on what their resources look like, to be able to work with and try to facilitate any additional pushes that they might have. Now, Royal appears to have plenty of bodies down there in the strong cap of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. which could end up shifting cap pressure if the Dutch Lions Brigade decides to send people up off those attacking garrisons that they have in the north.